Hi guys, so today's gonna be a fun video. You guys seem to like these kinds that I do. I've done a few videos like this before, as you can tell by the title. It's dating experiences, sort of. I did a whole video, I'll link below, about my most recent dating experiences. I think I was like 2 or 3 years old. But before I get into like these last two experiences, I really wanted to share with you, which I actually did ask you guys on Instagram stories if you'd rather have it in a video or a blog post, and like 95% of you said in a video, so here we are. But some backstory before we get into the actual stories. I've been single for 5 years plus. Yeah, that's that. But during that 5 years, I wouldn't say I was dating. I went online dating a couple of times and it always didn't work out. I was always ghosted, or it was just like a weird situation. I've done a whole blog post about ghosting and how I think it's juvenile and like there's literally no excuse for it ever. I've shared all that stuff with you guys before. I even ranted in a video about online dating, and pretty much everything I said in that video I still find true. I still like stand by what I said. I don't like online dating personally. I'm not dissing any of the apps or anyone who uses online dating because I know it works for a lot of people. I actually personally know a lot of people who have met someone through online dating. I get the point of it and everything, but personally for me, it's just like it's not my favorite thing. But at the same time, as in that video, I'm pretty sure I said like I'll never go on online dating again, I'll never download Bumble again. But because in the last 2 years, my anxiety was like really high, so like dating wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even really consider going on dates or anything like that. And then in the last 4 months or so, things changed. My anxiety got a whole lot better, so I decided I want to start dating again. I'm like actively trying to date. But because I work from home and most of my friends are in committed relationships, most of their friends are in committed relationships, there's not a big, not really great ways to meet people, other than bumping into someone that you think is cute at the grocery store, which is obviously not an often occurrence, if that's the right saying. But so there's not that many options, so I downloaded Bumble. Yeah, I did. I mentioned in my most recent Get Ready With Me, which I will also link below, kind of like a not backstory, but like, the basics of what happened most recently. I went on a date in September, my first ever online date, where I met someone who I never met before, and I literally met him after 1 day of talking. Like, we talked on like Sunday and met Monday. It was craziness. The reason that I think I mentioned this in the other video too, so I'll run through this part quick, but we went to the same high school. I kind of found to be, comforting. So I was a little bit less nervous for the date because of that fact. We met and we had a nice time. There wasn't like this big giant connection, but we talked for about 2.5 hours. So he walks me to my car, we hug goodbye, and he says, "I'd like to take you on a proper date sometime." And I was like, okay, sounds good, like just text me or whatever. And so I thought that he'd be asking me to make other plans or something at some point. By the time I got home, pretty much I had texted him and said, "It was really nice to meet you, I had a nice time." I don't know, maybe that's not dating protocol, maybe that's too fast, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. But I did that and I never got a response ever. So he totally ghosted me, which I thought, you guys already know my opinions on ghosting. I've done a video, I've done a blog post, like I'm done talking about that. But it's not that he just ghosted me, which would have been not fine, but like I would have been like, okay, whatever. He had to say before we left, like, "Oh, I'd like to take you on a property." Like, why would you even say that? Why wouldn't you just say, "Oh, I had a nice time, it was nice to meet you," and end it there? So that happened. Kind of bad for my first like dating experience recently to end up that way, but whatever. Next guy I told the whole story about in my last Get Ready With Me, so you can check that out if you want to see or hear about that. I pretty much went on 3 dates with this guy and it got weird, so I ended that one. And then the two most recent stories are what I'm here to tell you now. So about 3 weeks before Thanksgiving this past year, I started talking to someone from Bumble. He was a lot older, in his 40s. I'm 26, so yeah. I didn't really think much of that. I kind of thought it was a good thing, like, oh, he's mature, like, blah, blah, blah. So we were talking for like, I don't know, maybe 5 days, but I got sick. I don't know if you guys remember from my videos, like, a couple months ago, I had fever, my ears were really clogged, I couldn't function, so we didn't meet. And then I also had this horrible rash on my face. Nervous enough for a first date, you don't want to be dealing with that too, so we just kept putting off meeting each other. We talked for probably 3 weeks, and it kind of was boring, to be honest. Like, I liked him pretty much because he had a cat, and we got along, whatever. We had no connection, in my opinion. All we talked about was the same things every day. What'd you eat today? What movie did you watch today? Like, oh, this is what my cat did. Like, okay, it was just getting boring. So we kind of slowly just stopped texting each other. And so I kind of thought that was just over. I don't know. But this is just chronological order. So we'll get back to this guy later. Maybe the weekend before Thanksgiving, I started talking to this guy. And he was cute. Like, so cute. Like, very, very attractive. Like, it was the kind of thing like where you match, you want to message that guy immediately, and that's pretty much what I did. Like, we matched, and I messaged him. He had no bio. He had like 2 or 3 pictures, maybe only 2, and no bio whatsoever. I didn't know what to say. On Bumble, if you don't know, girls have to message first. So usually if I message someone first, I like look at their bio to kind of think of what to say. It said like nothing. So I pretty much was just like, your blank bio isn't giving me much of like anything to go off of. And we started talking, and it was great. Like, we really, really clicked. Like, the conversation was really good. So he already had asked me to meet either the first night we were talking or the second night we were talking. He told me that he had a kid. And for me, that's like not an issue whatsoever. I love kids. My parents, when they met, my dad already had 2 kids, and like, I don't know, I think that's great. But he was taking a vacation for a week, and then he had his kid with him the whole week, and obviously if we were gonna go on a first date, I wasn't gonna meet his kid, you know, like, that's kind of ridiculous. So he said he was getting his kid on a Wednesday, so we could either meet Monday or Tuesday, and this was, I think, Sunday we decided this, and I decided on Tuesday because I needed more time to kind of like prep. It was Sunday night, and we FaceTimed, which for me, I think it can make a first date when you're meeting someone online so much easier. You obviously know it's them, and it kind of gives you more of like a vibe for each other, like how you actually speak to one another. And we FaceTimed really long, I think from like 8:30 to like midnight or something. Like, we FaceTimed for a long time and really started talking about a lot of stuff. And then we met Tuesday. But so he had told me he was divorced, so he had a child with the woman he is divorced from. And he also told me he was recently, maybe in the last 3 months, out of a 1-year relationship with a woman he said was crazy, which is kind of a red flag for me. Anytime a guy says an ex is crazy, I'm like, are you sure she was just trying to have a normal conversation with you and you're the crazy one? But he like told me a lot of the things that happened with his more recent ex and his ex-wife, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, but like, you seem to be handling it well, whatever. So he told me a lot of this information about himself. He told me what he did for a living. He told me he was thinking about moving. Like, he told me all this like information, was very, very open, and I don't know, things really seemed to be good. I found him very genuine and sincere. So Tuesday night we met at Starbucks, and we went in and we sat down for a while, and then about, I want to say half hour in, he asked me if I was hungry. I was, so we went over to a diner nearby. We both met there, so I drove to the diner, he followed me, we ate, we talked. Even during dinner he like reached across the table and held my hand, and I was like, what? Never had a guy do that before. I don't know, I thought it was sweet. And then when we were leaving the restaurant, we kind of wanted to like go somewhere else, and we were like, well, it's cold out, so why don't we sit in the car and decide. My car was closer to the door, so we sat in my car, and like, we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do if we're gonna go someplace else or whatever. But pretty much we just sat in the car and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. And yes, we kissed, oh my god. But we were just very comfortable with each other. Like, we really opened up about a lot of things. We weren't going to see each other this next coming week, because the next day he was going to get his kid for a week, or longer than a week. So we made plans. Okay, we're going to hang out the following weekend after he was by himself. And we had agreed to kind of FaceTime and continue talking during that week. But we had a really nice time, and honestly it was like the best date I'd been on, like, even with what happens at the end of the story. But I came home from that date feeling very, very happy. Like, the prior dates I had been on before that, I came home thinking, okay, that went well, like, you know, whatever. But this one I was like smiling when I came home. I was giddy, I was so happy. He texted me and like was letting me know to get home safe, and we talked that night. And then the next night after his kid went to bed, we FaceTimed again. I think the next night too, so that would have been Thanksgiving. So on Thanksgiving he actually asked me to come over in the evening, and it was Thanksgiving, so I couldn't, like, obviously we had people and stuff like that. But then that next day was Black Friday, and in the morning we talked. We had talked every day. He'd always texted me first. It was pretty clear to me at the time that we liked each other an equal amount. But then Friday came. Friday morning he texted me. We were talking for a while, and then he asked me to hang out again, and I kind of brushed it off. And like, I mean, part of it was my anxiety, but also like, it's a second date, I don't want to go to your place. Because he had his kid, obviously he couldn't leave, so he was asking me after his kid went to bed if I wanted to come over. He knew nothing was gonna happen. I made it very clear that like, that wasn't my style, and I feel like it was not even like the nerves of that anything happening. I get the whole situation, like why we couldn't see each other outside of his house, but at the same time, like, we originally agreed to wait until after that week, and we were FaceTiming every day, like, it was fine with me. But I also said we have from this today to next Friday to decide if we want to hang out one of these days. Like, I'm not going anywhere. So after we had this conversation, he was like, no, I respect that, like, I understand, like, obviously I want to see you sooner, but like, I understand, it's fine. The conversation ended, and at first I didn't think anything of it. Later on in the day, probably like in the evening, I had texted something, like a picture of something I was doing that I had said the prior day that I was going to do that day. And I knew what he was doing that day, so I wasn't expecting text back or like a talking all day. That's not really what I do anyway. So I figured we would just FaceTime again at night. So the night came when we usually FaceTime, and I texted Go say we're going to FaceTime or whatever. No answer. And the texts weren't going through his iMessages, they were going through green. And I was like, I guess his phone died, whatever. And then by the time the next day came and I still didn't get a text, I thought, okay, I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but when you text someone every single day and all of a sudden nothing, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, especially for me. It gives me like bad vibes because I've been ghosted so many times before, and he really didn't come off as that type of person. We had talked about ghosting too, and we were on completely the same page about it, and we had agreed pretty much if we're both not feeling it or one of us isn't feeling it, just spit it out, like just let each other know we're gonna be fine, like no big deal. I figured his phone had died or something was going on like with his kid, I don't know, but I was trying not to like overthink it or anything. But so about a week later I texted saying, I haven't heard from you in a week, I hope everything's okay. Still nothing, and it was still going through green. And I had called one night, I think it was like maybe that same weekend that I first didn't hear from him, and it went straight to voicemail. No ring and then voicemail, which apparently means you're blocked. It wasn't that, it was just like straight to voicemail. I just kind of like thought, okay, well, you know, he ghosted me, I'm not gonna hear from him ever again. And then I hung out with a friend of mine and we talked about it, and I guess I just thought, you know, let's just give this one more go. Like, it's been almost another week, so it had been 2 weeks since I had heard from him, and I thought, you know what, let's just give it another chance. Like, let's just text him one more time. So I reached out, nothing. But, so what we did was text him from my friend's phone, because I wanted to see if it would go through as an iMessage this time, and it did. So I thought, oh my god. So, yep, I was definitely ghosted. Cool. Great. But at least now I knew. Well, obviously his phone is on, and he's receiving text messages, but not from my number, so I don't know if he blocked me or what, but that's what happened. Me and my friend talked about it, and I was on like the, you know, closure. I was like, cool, great, he ghosted me, like now I can officially know that that's what happened. Until the next day. So this happened at night around 10:30 or something when I was out with my friend, and then the next day around 3 or 4 in the afternoon I get a text from a number I do not recognize. I'm just gonna bring it up so I make sure I say this all right. So I asked, who's this? And they said it's my new number, I had my calls forwarded, and then they put Sam, ? So they knew who I was, and I was like, I still don't know who it is, and then boom, it's him. This guy who ghosted me I haven't talked to in 2 weeks, and I'm like, what? There's, like, obviously you didn't get a new number because we texted you from a different number last night and you answered and it went through blue. So what are you talking about? I already was like suspicious of this. So I just said, oh, another lie. Sorry, I was passed out when you texted me last night. Another lie, because obviously when we texted my friend's phone it went through blue and he answered, so he wasn't fast asleep. I was like, it's been a while. He says, yeah, how are you? I said, good, but to be honest, I'm a little confused. About what? I'm just going to read you this whole freaking text conversation. I was like, why I haven't heard from you in weeks. Oh, to be honest, I felt dumb. What did we do that night? I've been on meds and my head's been effed up. And I just said, okay, because that, I immediately didn't believe that for 1 second. Like, what are you even talking about? So he asked me what we did that night that we met. And I was like, are you freaking serious? Like, what? And he was like, yeah, why? So I pretty much gave a little rundown. We went to Starbucks, we went to the diner, we hung out in my car, we kissed a little, and we talked for a lot. And then I never heard from you again. I was like, I figured you ghosted me even though you didn't seem like the type. So why didn't things go further than that? And I was like, because that's not me and it was a first date. Like, what do you mean? And then I get this message. Ready? Are you ready for this? I kind of want to just put it up on screen. He did ghost you. This is his girlfriend. Don't text him. Don't call him. We have children together. And there's a lovely little picture she sent of her and him kissing. Oh my god. What the fuck? So, right then, I'm just like in shock. Like total shock. And, oh, before I read the rest of this conversation. The picture that this girl sent me is not the girl who's his ex-wife, who he told me was his ex-wife. I'm assuming who this person is the girlfriend he told me about that was more recent, that he said he was gonna like change the locks on his house for her, and like that she was crazy and stuff, and like that she had her own kid, and he had his own kid, and they didn't have kids together, but they like had, you know, their own kids. You know what I mean? So all I said was, wow. I had no idea. Obviously he freaking lied to me, and I feel like an idiot because I believed him. I said, wow. And she said, sorry for the misunderstanding. He purposely didn't answer you, and he did ghost. Just wanted to make sure he was telling the truth. Because I guess he told her what happened. Online dating isn't good. You should be careful out in the world. Never know who is telling the truth or not. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm the one who should be careful. You're the one who's in a serious relationship with this guy who's obviously cheating on you. Like, he's the one lying to you too. Like, what the hell? I don't know. So I was like, sorry, I had no idea. I just thought he had a son with his ex. I never would have met or talked to him if I knew. I have a situation and I'm apologizing. It's not my fault. I was lied to. But still, like, I did feel bad. She shares a life with this person. I went on one date with him. She was like, okay, good luck. And I was like, yeah, sorry. Hope everything works out for you. And she's like, yeah, thanks, me too. He's lucky I don't smack the shit out of him. And I said, you should. Because honestly, if I was seeing that guy right now, I would smack the Jesus out of him. She's like, I'm sure you're a lovely person and I'm glad things didn't go further. And I said, same. She said, just be careful because people are crazy. Are they? Are they? I have no right to say anything about this woman's relationship, but she was like, I reached out, and I really appreciated that. Like, as much as like it's kind of crazy, this whole situation, and then like shocking, I really appreciated the fact that she reached out. I know the first text was kind of like, don't talk to him, don't do this, don't do that. Like, obviously I had no idea. After that, I do appreciate her like messaging me, because like at least I knew, like she knew that he had ghosted me and like wanted me to know, and like obviously wanted me to stop texting him. At this point, I was like 90% sure it was her, but like 10% of me thought this could be him. But then this question came in and I was like, yep, this is her. What do you look like? Do you look like me? And I didn't know how to answer that, so I just sent a selfie, like the most recent one I had in my camera roll. And so I sent her a picture and she writes opposites, and that's the last text from this situation. This is why online dating sucks. You never know if someone's lying and there's no accountability. That's why I'd like to meet someone through a friend, because then if they like cheat on you or lie to you or stand you up or do something really messed up, like they have some kind of accountability from someone in their life. Like crazy. This guy has a child and shares a life with this person enough that they're putting their kids to bed together. You're having dates with people. So now that we're done with the cheating story, which I'm sure you guys enjoyed. The first guy I was telling you about, not the first guy, but the last guy I was telling you about, who's 41. I guess he told you he was in his 40s. He's 41. I hadn't talked to him since before Thanksgiving. And now, the day after this girl reached out to me, I was kind of already like still in shock. And then I wake up the next morning to a text message from this guy in his 40s who I haven't heard from in 3 weeks. It said good morning, but I didn't open it. It was like, you know how like you get the texts that come up on your phone here, but if you don't click it, it just stays there. So like the red little dot is still there, so you remember to text back later. That's what I do sometimes. So it was early in the morning and I didn't want to click on it because I wanted to remember to say something back later. And because it just said good morning, I thought, okay, I'll text back later and just be like, listen, like I'm sorry we haven't talked lately, but I've been going through whatever I've been going through, and like I don't think it's gonna work out. Like I hope good luck with everything. Like I was gonna give a little goodbye, you know? But I was gonna be very polite about it and whatever. So that's around 9 a.m. I went back to sleep for a while, and I wake up, and I'm gonna text him back. But first, I went to have my coffee and my breakfast, because if I was gonna have this conversation, I was gonna need some coffee, because I didn't know if he was gonna be like, yeah, fine, no problem, or if he was gonna be like, what, why, blah, blah, blah. So I had my coffee and everything, and I go to open the text message and to answer it. It didn't just say good morning. No. Nope. So even though I thought it was just a good morning text, there's a picture along with it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube because they're going to demonetize me. It was a full nude, not a dick pic, a full nude picture, head to that. I want to throw my phone across the room. It's never enjoyable when you get this, especially when it's unsolicited and unwanted, which it pretty much always is. Like, girls, if you're with me. All a list of things that are so shocking about this. A, you're a grown-ass man. You're in your 40s. No. When we were talking back 3-4 weeks ago, I had said something about how the guys on Bumble who post shirtless pics, it's just overrated. Like, it's one thing if you're at the beach or, you know, you're outside a barbecue in a pool and you have a shirtless picture holding a dog, whatever. But when you're taking a mirror selfie, it's one thing to show off your outfit, whatever. But when you're taking a mirror selfie that's shirtless and you're putting it on Bumble, like, you just look like a tool. You really do. And I made it clear to him that that's my opinion on that. And I was like, yeah, I don't like shirtless selfies. Like, it's just, like, not my thing. He was like, okay, I'll take a note, right? And at one point, he did send me, like, a picture, like, in the morning brushing his teeth or something shirtless. But it wasn't like a, here, look at my shirtless picture, you know? So I kind of overlooked it. And the worst part was, I don't even know what the worst part was. All of it, you know what the worst part was. And so of course, while this is unwinding, this whole thing, I'm texting all my friends being like, well, what the hell? Why do I attract these crazy people? What the hell? Like, what? I'm so glad that didn't work out. Like this, like what? Obviously not husband material, not boyfriend material, not human material. Why is this happening to me? So before I even got a chance to block him, because I didn't want to go back to that message and like go to the info and like hit block, so I didn't even go to it yet. I figured, okay, if I didn't respond to that, which, how would I? How did he even expect me to respond? Like, whoa, baby, come over? Like, is that what you want me to say? Like, what the hell? So I obviously didn't answer, and I thought he'd just like feel embarrassed and like I wouldn't say anything, or he was on drugs. Like, I have no idea. But anyways, so that was early, and then around 3, maybe a lot earlier than 3, I get another text from him. And is it, you know, oh, sorry about that, or did you like that, or any kind of creepy thing that had anything to do with that earlier text? No. It's, oh, you know that movie you mentioned like a month ago? I found a better version of it online. I watched it last night. This person is a lunatic. I'm sorry, what? Of course I did not answer. That's when I immediately blocked him, and I was just like, no. Like, what is wrong with people? As much as I hate online dating, with my lifestyle, it seems to be the only way you can actually meet anyone, but you have to go through so many of these crazy people. Like, what? I mean, obviously, these could have been way worse. Like, I could have been in danger. Like, things could have been way worse. And I'm lucky that they ended the way they did. I had trust issues for years and years and years, but if I didn't, I would now. Because what the heck? Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave comments letting me know what your crazy dating stories are, whether it's from online dating or not. And also, I know I put Bumble in the title, but I'm not like dissing Bumble. Like, it's not Bumble's fault that these people are crazy. Please subscribe to see more from me. I'm gonna continue dating eventually, probably after the new year. So if you want to subscribe to hear more dating stories from me in the future, or go back and watch some of my previous ones, please do so. Bye.